Hello there, welcome to the channel. This is Nerd World, and this is the bonus episode which was made for the supercut of the Warrior Races series. Thought I'd make an extra episode just to throw in while I was doing the supercuts, only a short one, and this one is on the Toads. If you've ever watched the series Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars, or Bucky O'Hare, depending on where you live in the world as to what it was titled, it was basically about a space hare fighting the evil Toad Empire. Great cartoon, I grew up on it, had a lot of the toys, and more importantly, we have one of the most evil amphibian empires ever to darken the universe, the Toad Empire. And here is who they are and why they do what they do. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below, as I'm sure I've said in other videos, if you're watching this as part of the supercut. If not, like, share, subscribe, comment down below. And let's get started. The Toads of the Toad Empire were once a peaceful, albeit vain and somewhat greedy civilization who rose from their homeworld to become a spacefaring civilization of capitalist dogs. And they basically went forth and Ferengi'd their way across the galaxy. But one day, a conglomerate of scientists came up with a brilliant idea to run their society more efficiently. They would create the supercomputer of all supercomputers, which could run their society so they didn't have to anymore, and they could focus on other things like lounging around in spas, earning money, and generally slothing their way through life. They all thought this was a brilliant idea, so they set about creating this machine. This machine, once activated, would instantly name itself Complex. It would eliminate its own creators to prevent its shutdown and begin to radically alter Toad society, brainwashing the people, putting the entire population in a state of constant surveillance, and radically industrializing the homeworld to turn it into a planet-wide war machine. By the time it was done, after about 100 years of conversion, the Toad homeworld was barely habitable for the race that had evolved there, and the Toads themselves were little more than a slave race of warriors. Although they wouldn't see it that way, of course. Complex had converted the entire planet into pretty much an ecumenopolis, which is basically an entire planet covered by city, several stories deep and heavily industrialized, all to basically serve Complex as one gigantic mind. But realizing that the Toads couldn't really live on this world, it radicalized them and made them believe that they of a Toad superiority complex, pun intended, and made the Toads believe that they were the superior race in the galaxy, a Toad first policy, if you will. They went forth and were begun to savagely conquer other worlds, enslaving or wiping out the populations, and then either terraforming or simply conquering and stripping the planet of resources which they had now annexed. If they saw fit, they would convert the planet into an environment more suitable to them, more like a swampy land like their original homeworld was. If not, they would industrialize it or simply enslave the population. And they continued doing this up until running into individuals such as Bucky O'Hare and his crew, who would oppose them at every opportunity and attempt to prevent them reaching planets such as Earth, abundantly rich in resources and large population. The Toad Empire would continue to radically and viciously expand in all directions, and although there were leaders amongst the Toads in high-ranking military positions, ultimately only Complex had any real authority, and every Toad was little more than a slave within their own empire. The only person who benefited from the Toad Empire was Complex. The Toads could bask in the strength of it, but were again slaves, and they just didn't realize it. Something of a tragedy, but an interesting race altogether. Not exactly a deep, thoughtful empire, but a ruthless and efficient and brutal one that stamped its authority and claim over the entire galaxy from which it saw. So there we have the Toads, one of the most powerful, badass warrior races of amphibians the universe has ever seen. Not someone we want turning up on our doorstep or any other. They might even be able to give the Galactic Empire a good run for its money. Their stormtroopers versus the Toad Troopers. Storm Toads. It was Storm Toads. The Storm Toads and Stormtroopers. My god, that show was awesome. Anyway, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and bye-bye.